All right, so sixth grade. So we talked about converting numbers from standard form, like a normal number, to scientific notation. And what if it's in reverse? What if we have a number in scientific notation and we need to write it as a normal number? So our first example here is 6.8 times 10 to the fourth power. This number is in scientific notation, and we are going to put it in standard form. So the first thing we're going to do is I'm just going to write 6.8. So I'm not even going to worry about the 10 to the fourth yet. So I just write out 6.8. And then I'm going to look at this 10 to the fourth. And that exponent of 4 tells me that I am going to move my decimal 4 places over. And I'm going to do that. So you can see here, I'm moving my decimal 4 places over. And what happens in these little open spots here, we're going to fill them with zeros. And I put in zeros. And now 6.8 times 10 to the fourth has become 68,000. But you do make sure you rewrite the number. Do not give me this as an answer, 6.8000 with little cloud symbols underneath. That's confusing to read. You're going to rewrite it as 68,000. If you want to put the comma in, you can. I'm not picky with the commas. If you want to put them in, great. If you don't, that's fine too. So let's look at our next one, 4.92 times 10 to the ninth power. So for this problem, I'm going to write out 4.92, and then I'm going to take my decimal and move it 9 places over. So there's my 4.92. My decimal kind of isn't there, but it should be there. And then I'm going to move it 9 places over. And when I do that, I fill in the zeros. So I end up with 7 zeros I have to fill in, which kind of makes sense because if you think about it, I'm going to move it 9 places, and the first 2 places are past the 9 and the 2. So that leaves 7 more places for zeros. So I'm going to rewrite this number. I put my commas in. I don't know why that circles or that zeros filled in. But it'd be 4,920,000,000. So our next one, 3.1 times 10 to the 6. Same thing. I'm going to write 3.1, and then I'm going to move my decimal 6 places to the right. So I move it 6 places. I fill in those zeros. So now I got 3.1 followed by 5 zeros. So I'm going to write that number. I put in my commas. It ends up being 3,100,000. All right, let's try 3 more. So I want you to try these 3 on your own. The third one's a little tricky. You got to do a little thinking about it. So I want you to pause the video. I want you to try these 3 on your own, and then once you've done them, unpause the video, and you can see the answers that I'm about to post here. So again, pause the video, try these on your own. Okay, I'm going to post the 3 answers now. There they are. So the first one, you had to move it 7 places, and you end up with 5 zeros after the 901. When I put in my commas, it's 90,100,000. For the second one, I only had to move it 2 places. So I ended up only adding 1 zero, and it ended up just being 310. For the third one, so 5 times 10 to the 8th power, this was a little tricky because there's no decimal in the 5, but we know that if there was, it would be after the 5. So when my decimal was right here after the 5, I'm going to move it 8 places. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and I'm going to fill in. I end up filling in 8 zeros there in this one, and that ends up being 500 million as my answer. All right, that is it for part 2.